and Pharrell Williams. That's right, all in one track. Then some Ava Max. You're going to hear from Luke Willmott. Now, Luke is the founder and the owner of a gym that was established in 1981, a gym that is believed to be the oldest gym in Nottingham because it's facing a major battle for its future after the site was sold to developers. So it's looked after the health and well-being of its members for over 40 years, had such a difficult time during the pandemic, but it's remained popular. Memberships returning to pre-pandemic levels, but now because the site has been sold to developers, well, they're upping the costs, they're doing everything like that, and now it's going to fight for survival for Luke and the team. Actually, Luke, I'm going to ask you now, is it Nottingham's oldest gym? That's a bold claim.
Well, to be honest, I think we can even claim to be the oldest hardcore gym in the whole of the UK. So that's our kind of our tagline. But yeah, if we're not the oldest in the whole of the UK, we're definitely up there, and we've definitely got the reputation.
I like that. That's good. That's a good answer. So it was established nevertheless in 1981. It's called Castle Gym. Now, before I get into what's happening, Luke, you were someone that spent a fair bit of time on BBC Radio Nottingham during the pandemic, where you were talking about trying to stay open, what you can do, and you and I had so many conversations actually off air when you were still doing the breakfast show and stuff here, where I was going, oh mate, the gym. The gym was the first thing to go, which that was the hardest for me, because what it does not only for me physically, but what it does for me mentally is massive. And without it, do you know what, those hour walks and stuff, they don't do for me what going and just smashing things about in a gym does. So you did a lot of work to try and keep it open, a lot of work to then sustain it when you had to close. Now what's happening?
Well, to be honest, I think people thought I worked for BBC Radio Nottingham. Do you know what I mean? I don't hear too much. I was here more than you sometimes.
Yeah, so was the case.
Look, I think, like you says, them walks, them bike rides, yeah, everybody was out in fresh air, but they just didn't hit where people needed them to hit. Do you know what I mean? It didn't quite fill that void that people were missing. And look, we've done amazing. We've come through the pandemic. Sometimes you think, has there even been a pandemic now? I'm speaking from my personal instance, like the gym is busier than ever. The uptake and people have got behind us. People have seen that we was there for the community during COVID and during the pandemic, and they've bought into it. They've seen the changes we did. We didn't sit back. We didn't wait for the gym to gather dust and come and dust it off 2 minutes before we was allowed back in. We put it to work, and we used the time well. People come back, and people are loving the place. And obviously, I'm absolutely gutted with the news. It's obviously public knowledge now. We've been fighting behind the scenes for a long time to try.
So I know you say it's public knowledge, but there'll be people listening here that may have not seen what's happened. So what has happened?
So we're in a battle. We're in a position where the gym's going to be trying to force to be closed. The building's been sold. The gym's been in this building well over 40 years.
And whereabouts is that?
It's on Castle Boulevard. So I think some of the kit's never even going to leave the building, to be honest. It's stuck to it.
Yeah.
But look, we're trying our hardest. With some developers have took it on. We've been in talks with these guys. We're trying to keep our home. Ultimately, it's our home. It's been so many people's homes for so many decades, and it's upsetting. It's troubling, to be honest.
So what happens now? Because we see this all the time now, where developers come in, they buy sites, they buy units, and they go, well, typically it'll be like student flats or something like that, right? But they get these units. So for someone who's a tenant, is there not kind of like a process here where it's like, well, hold on, you've got a lease on this place, we've bought the land, but it comes with these businesses which have a lease?
100. And look, we've got rights, and this is what we're doing, and we think we've got a right to stay in the building. We've got a right to, we've got a lease. So we are exploring them options. They're putting a lot of pressure on us. There was a lot of there was nearly a dozen businesses in this building. We're the last one there. Everyone was out. We was out from the 12th of January. We're still there. We're still fighting. We're still having a facility for our members to keep the mental health at bay, to keep the health and well-being in check. Do you know what I mean? And we've got a duty of care to our community to stay fighting. And look, it's a troubled time ahead, and it's a very uncertain times ahead. It's been overwhelming, like what we've done, and coming on here, and Johnny was on BBC, it was on Notts TV yesterday. The community getting behind us, that's what makes us realise why we're doing the right thing to fight.
But like, what? this may sound a trivial question or whatever, but what does happen now?
Well, look, we're doing our best. We're putting our best foot forward. We're trying to speak to the developers. We are trying to explore other options. As you can understand, like, we're not a small home gym. We're not a small PT studio. We've got thousands of square foot. We've got, I think, nearly 30 tons of kit in this gym.
Imagine moving a gym, man.
Hopefully, if anything does go down, we're calling on the community to help us move. Let's everybody come and get your bit of weight and let's get it moved.
But what? So like, and this is what I mean. I don't want to be nonchalant with this. So like, the developers are either going to come to you and it's either going to be, well, you can stay, but it's going to cost this much, or you've literally got to go. Yeah,
and this is the thing, and honestly, it breaks my heart. My personal mental health has been in the gutter. I've known about this. I've not wanted to bring this out because I know what it's going to mean to so many other people. The thought of Castle Gym not being there, not so much even being in the premises or where its home's been, but not even being a business anymore. Do you know what I mean? We've survived a pandemic. It's survived 40 odd years. We've moved through the times, and to have something like this, a developer come from out of the city and kick these small businesses out, I think it's devastating. It really is. And trust me, we're trying our hardest.
So what are your next steps?
You tell me, brother. I'm hoping we can do it. Let's put it out to a poll. Look, we're exploring whatever options we can. It's not easy to find units out there at the moment. Any units that are out there, they're normally up for development as well. So it's not. We don't want to go anywhere and then have to move again. Yeah. So we're trying to explore whatever options we can. We really are.
Is there any way people can keep up to date with what's going on?
Yeah. Look, we're trying to put blogs out. We're using our social media, keeping it. And what's pretty crazy is in the last 7 days we've had nearly 25 new members join, and since the news has hit, people are coming to join. So number one, that's supporting us and getting behind us. But I think also number two is if we are going, I think they're using it as a reason to come and utilise the facility while it's still there. They're taking advantage of it, which is nice. Look, if it's going to go, it's going to be heartbreaking, but let's get down. Let's utilise this facility that has been there for decades and decades, because ultimately, if it does go, we can't come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd think it'd be the opposite. You'd think everybody would be rats off a sinking ship. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's running away, everyone's deserting us. But it's been nice. It's been nice, definitely.
It's hard though, isn't it? There's like loyalty at gyms.
Look,
like, I know I could go to somewhere much too. I could probably come to your gym. I can't leave my gym. It's like
where are you, David Lloyd? You can't leave. You're in the pool. That's why you're liking the luxuries.
I need that sauna. What I mean by that is, my gym is... So you mentioned where I go. Other gyms are, of course, available aside from those two. But I joined there, 15...
You've been 16. There a long time.
No, when I was 14 years old, I started training there, right? And then I went to university, and in my summer holidays, I used to go back there. Then I went to London for 10 years, came back, went back there. There were still the same people there and stuff. Yeah. And this is what I mean. And this is what you were saying about Castle Gym, right? Yeah. When you go into these places like communities, you don't leave until you can't go.
And look, and do you know, sometimes some people, their only interaction with other human beings of that day is the guy in the gym or the girl in the gym who they give a little nod to or they get a spot from.
Yeah.
And this is why, no matter where you go, it's your home. It's your home from home. And look, you've got multinationals all over the country that people are loyal to. So imagine a facility like Castle Gym, what's been there with decades, generations of family members, and people are coming. And we're just getting Ray, who's been with me over 40 years. His son Bren now has joined the gym. The next generation, and it's holding more precedent for us to stand up and fight.
Yeah.
I think I'm a large guy, but for once in my life, we're little guys compared to these developers.
I like that. Now, sorry, you just said earlier you're doing blogs and things like that, but on socials, where can people find you?
Yeah, Castle Gym Nottingham. Come over to... We're trying to give as much information. We're trying to answer. And ultimately, I think the support we've had is amazing as well. I want to thank everybody. And people, new and old, we've got students who used to come here 5 or 6 years ago and now... in the jobs, they're in their adult lives, and they're putting on Facebook, they're putting on Instagram. Look, this was their home when they was in the city. They're gutted to see it go.
Yeah.
So it's been nice, but very, very, very upsetting for me. It's a close subject to my heart.
Love that. Right, well, cheers for coming on anyway and sharing it. And we'll keep up to date with how they're getting on. What's
you still
got
to come down, haven't you, before we close? If we do end up, I think we've promised that quite a few times on the show.
Yeah. I know, I'm back in Luke. Like,
is that right?
I'm strong again now. I'm wearing a baggy jumper today, but trust me, I'm going to Italy next week. I'm in a holiday shape.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready. Right, this is Post Malone and Doja Cat.